Hey guys, what's going on? Back again with another Cold War and the Vanguard Zombies video. And as you guys know, we got the Forsaken, the final DLC map for Cold War about 2 days ago. So this is going to have some spoilers just in case if you want to beat the map yourself and you want to be surprised and see the ending. Which I'm actually pretty surprised that a lot of people didn't want to have it spoiled for them, because I read a lot of comments on Twitter and YouTube, and a lot of people didn't want to watch any streamers complete it live, which I actually opted for that choice of watching it live. But it is kind of cool and surprising that a lot of people don't want it spoiled. That the Easter eggs now and the maps are a lot more enjoyable for people because they can complete the Easter egg probably maybe within under an hour. So again, if you're one of those people that you're gonna go do it yourself, you want to see the ending for yourself before you get anything spoiled, then don't watch this, because I'm actually going to talk about the ending and maybe what's coming for Vanguard. And as you guys know, at the end of the cutscene, I'm not going to describe or talk too much about the cutscene, but more the final part of the cutscene. Is that you see Peck goes to some part of Asia, wants to rent a boat to go to a location in the Far East. And there's a lot of speculation. I'm not going to actually go over too many speculations, but and that's what this is all about. Is do you want to know what might be coming? Do you want to hear theories that might end up spoiling stuff for you, or do you want to just wait for the map to come out? Because I'm actually kind of curious how people are treating the end cutscene and maybe Vanguard. And I think it's kind of cool that it almost is like a movie. And I saw a couple people mention that it is almost now like you're watching a movie, or maybe like a Netflix or Disney series or episode that you don't want to know what's coming next week. You want to complete the series for yourself. So that's kind of like the litmus test, or the question that I'm going to ask is, do you want to hear any theories that might be coming true? Because that's the thing that I always struggle with, is when you solve stuff and you solve stuff way ahead of people, it now becomes spoilers, where it's like, I know people use the tagline of, like, inside information, leakers, and stuff like that, but ultimately, whatever route or title or phrase that you want to call it, it could potentially be spoilers. Um, if you Because once you solve everything ahead of everyone, it now becomes that, do I want to be like, take the good ending or the bad ending, where it's like, do you want to clickbait people and tell them, hey, I have inside information, and then you blow up your channel to like 3 million viewers or subscribers, or do you want to take the good route and be honest and say, hey, I just solved everything. There's a lot of clues that Treyarch and Call of Duty gives you, that you can ultimately solve everything way ahead of people. I'm talking like months ahead of people. And it's not anything new at Cold War. It's stuff that the way they've done it ever since World at War, Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2, and especially Black Ops 3, where if you piece their puzzles together early, kind of like what they did with the what people might have done with the particle accelerators and locations that were going to be in Cold War, and then the same thing with um, Black Ops 2 was a little more straightforward, because it gave you literally GPS locations of where we're going. So that might be even my own answer for myself, is like, Call of Duty obviously wants you to know what's coming to hype it up a little bit, but at the same time, I feel like I might be spoiling it for people. So with all that being said, what I'm ultimately getting to is, and you know the saying, history repeats itself. It looks like we're at the same point, almost the same point, and people are comparing it to Black Ops 3. Funny enough, that we're at the point where Black Ops 3 ended on such a high note. It had such a great ending, great story. And then I remember saying this, that was obviously back in 2016, but I remember saying this too, that like, it's just shame that they're not continuing the story, because you're almost going to press reset on the hype button going into, at that time, Infinite Warfare. And then ironically, and this is kind of going to be the question, they have a choice to make right now. Do they continue the story like they did with Infinite Warfare? Because a lot of people don't know, and it's still kind of unsolved for majority of the zombies community, that the Ether story continued into Infinite Warfare, vaguely, loosely followed and blended into Infinite Warfare zombies with infinite realities and um, Monty and Mephistopheles being the similar character. It could be like a broken world or broken dimension of Monty's, and of course the Afterlife Theater being Kino der Toten. So they did that part with Infinite Warfare, but then ultimately in the next question is, do they hit the reset button? Because Infinite Warfare kind of carried over. They probably could have done it a little bit better, maybe blend a little bit more characters and stuff like that, but they subtly hinted that it was going to be within the Ether story. Or they could take the route of World War II zombies, where they completely hit the reset button. And I watched a lot of interviews with Cameron Dayton, how he didn't want to connect. They wanted to have their own story. They wanted to have their own lore. Even though you can connect it, it wasn't intended to connect to the Ether story. But there's some stuff with Barbarossa that can connect to the Ether story. I know, so hearing from Cameron Dayton and tweeting him on Twitter, it was never the intention, it was never Call of Duty's intention. They wanted to just build their own zombies story. But again, it leads to where we're at. Like, we're at that point where are we continuing it to Vanguard, or is Vanguard gonna hit the reset button like Nazi Zombies, and it's gonna be a whole new Gabriel Kraft story, a prequel to Cold War, or like I said, do we continue it to Vanguard Zombies, where there is a way, which I'm not going to mention, for us to get from 1989, I guess, or 1990, back to the World War II era. People have theories, people have speculations, there's a lot of hints and Easter eggs, and I ultimately don't know where Treyarch is taking it. I can kind of take a guess and a wild guess. Like I said, once you do your research, you can probably nail it down to a 99, 98% correction rate of, like, you can get it correct. So it looks like they can either hit the reset button and give us a true prequel, or they can ultimately start at 1990 in Vanguard and work their way back to the World War II era, which I'm not going to necessarily say that, just in case people, again, don't want it spoiled. They want to come up with their own theories. They want to know what's going on for themselves, or they want Treyarch to reveal it to them. So I try and be a little bit nicer and not spoil stuff for people. So again, we're at that point where it ends and we don't know where it's going. Literally, and I know that's kind of like a running theme and joke, is like, where is Zombies literally going from here? Is it going back straight to the World War II era, hitting the reset button and maybe losing all that hype? Or they do what Infinite Warfare did and carry some of that hype into Infinite Warfare like they did, or we carry that hype into Vanguard, um, or we're gonna have to wait for Black Ops 6 or whatever it is, um, before we see the continuation of the story. So do they want to stay in the 90s and see what happens from there, or do we want to hit the reset button, go to Vanguard, do a prequel, or within Vanguard can you also go into the 90s and then work your way back into the World War II era? A lot of this is solvable, that's why I don't want to give too many answers away, but I want to see what people have to say. Anyways, I hope that makes sense. I'll see you guys later.